Hey guys, Chris from Provo Beast Audio Installation, and in today's video we're replacing the rear door speakers on this 2024 Chevy Silverado. Now in this install we're going to show you how to remove the door panel and factory speaker. We'll head to the bench, show you the new speaker we're installing, including the speaker itself, bracket, and a harness adapter, and we'll come back here to get everything installed. Let's get started. Now, a couple of things to note, depending on the trim level of your truck, whether you have Bose or not, the rear door speaker is about 3.5 to 4 ohms. So in this install, whether you have the factory amp or the base model, any aftermarket 4 ohm speaker will work great in your application. Last thing to note, GM did do a mid-generation update on these trucks from 2022 through 24 and newer. But if you have the 19 through 22 version of this truck, it still works. This install still works for you. The parts are just the same, though the interior door trim panel is slightly different, and we can make those notes on how to remove that trim panel in the description of this video. Regardless, this video still works for you in general, so let's go ahead and get this door panel off. First thing we need to do is remove this little rubber up underneath. It's going to expose two 9/32 or 7mm screws. Now underneath the door trim there is one more screw here at the bottom, also 7mm. Now this may differ slightly than the upper two we just removed, so keep this one separate. However, the rest of the panel is held in with clips. Now you can use a vinyl panel tool. I am using a panel popping tool that will help separate the panel from the door itself. And usually I start on the speaker corner here. There's usually a spot where you can get your fingers up underneath, and we're going to separate the panel from the door. Okay, once all the clips are off, go ahead and lift. Now, there's going to be a little clip holding on the cable for the door latch release. You squeeze it in here, right here, pull it back, and then it'll swing out. Then you can disconnect the cable from the socket. Now the harness itself may have a little lock on it. You have to pull the gray lock out. I'm going to grab that pick tool again, pull the gray lock out. Then you can press in the tab. You pull it out and it allows the tab to be pressed, and it comes on free. All right, so here's our factory speaker. Now it's also held in with a 7mm screw. This one is different than all the other screws. I can keep this one separate. Go ahead and pull it out, unsnap it. Now the harness, just like the window harness up above, the speaker harness also has a lock on it. This one's red. You pull it back, just like so. Then you can press in the tab and the harness comes out. So with this now free and out of the way, let's head to the bench to show you the parts that you're going to need for your install. All right, so here at the bench, the parts that we're using in today's install, first and foremost, are the speakers that we're choosing to install. Now we're going with these Alpine Type R Gen 2 6.5-inch coaxial speakers, meaning the tweeter is mounted within the mid-range, making it a coaxial. This coaxial will fit great in the factory location with the right install parts. Now the install parts we've chosen to go with, the bracket adapter to accommodate ours, as you notice it's the same similar shape as the OEM speaker, is this Scosche SAGM HR634. Accommodates 6.5 or 6 3/4 inch speakers here. You can also do a 6-inch with these provisions here in the center. Now wiring harness adapter wise, we're going with this Pack Audio SH3802. Harness adapters make this a nice and easy plug and play install. Now one quick thing to note, everything does come in pairs. We've already done the passenger side, so just know you'll get 2 speakers, 2 brackets, and 2 harness adapters in your install. Now first thing we need to do is go ahead and get our speaker mounted within the bracket itself. These provisions may get in the way, so if you want to go ahead and grab yourself some pliers, you can actually break these little tabs off to give you a little bit more space to mount your 6.5-inch speaker. Now we're going to go ahead and face our terminals down, generally speaking, and we're going to go ahead and use the screws that are provided by our Alpine to mount the speaker to the bracket itself. All right, so we got those screws in. Now the provisions for the screws, the holes themselves within the bracket, they're a little large. So we do add the little nuts that go on the back, the universal ones, just to keep them tight and in place. We don't want those screws backing off in the door panel itself. So with this all done and ready to go, we have our door harness adapter, and we do like here at the bench, just to give that a little bit more protection, just like factory, we're gonna go ahead and lume it with some high temperature Tesa tape, just like so. Now this simply plugs into the terminals here on the back of the speaker. This one's a little loose, so we're going to go ahead and put a little crimp in it so it has a little bit more bite and tightness. All right, so there we are. There's our speaker. It's ready to go. At this point in time, let's head back to the car to get this installed. All right, so we're going to grab our harness adapter here, get our speaker plugged in, lock in the lock. Get this mounted up. All right, so we got our speaker mounted, got everything hooked up here. As you can see, we actually sound treated the door. We also did the inside. We added some fast rings. We just want the best audio quality possible, totally optional. And if you want to know how we did that in our video, we'll link that video in the description, how we sound treated the door. We also did the inner door skin here. We pulled this back so we can get access to it, just for the sake of cutting down the road noise. We connected our harness adapter, locked it all in. Basically, our speaker's ready to go. It's always a great idea to test everything to ensure it's working properly before you reinstall the door panel, and once you do so, you can reinstall in reverse order. About it for this install. If you have any questions on what we did here, go ahead and post a comment below. If you want to know how we did the passenger side, it's the exact same process, just a mirror image. Additionally, if you want to see how we did the front door speakers, including the tweeters in the dash, we'll link that video in the description at your convenience. Lastly, we actually did a full Bose overhaul on this Chevy truck. So if you want to see how we actually bypassed the Bose, added our own amplifiers, we'll link that video also in the description as well. Thanks again for watching. Be sure to hit the like button if you liked what you saw, and don't forget to subscribe. It posts great content on the channel all the time, and we'll see you in the next video.